Make a Path presents Let's Talk. Alright, Deadheads, so I finally got that gorgeous cover of issue 139 in my possession, and damn, it quickly rose to the top of the list of one of my favorite comic covers for The Walking Dead. Now, my one word to describe this issue is revealing. Comment down below your one word, and stay tuned because at the end of this discussion, I'm going to explain why I'm holding issue 127, I had to look at that, 127 in my hand, and why it might relate to Michonne's reappearance. Let's talk The Walking Dead comic, issue 139, From the Edge of the World. Alright, Deadheads, I know a while ago I talked to you guys about an interview that Robert Kirkman gave, and he said that he's happy that he's setting up this vast world and he can bounce in and out of the different communities and different storylines and different areas within there, because we know some storylines are going to happen in unknown areas, much like the Whispers. We don't know where the hell they're at. They're somewhere in the woods. But I do want to take a look at how much attention he's focusing in just this comic in different areas. We got 18 pages I wrote down just being at the boat. Now that's Ezekiel and people from the kingdom, and that's Rick and people from Alexandria together, not at different communities, you know, they're together at the boat sighting. So I put them all together at the one area. We have 2 pages being at the hilltop and 2 pages being out with the Whispers. And I love how he's able to say, okay, we want to take a majority of the story from here, but I do want to peek in on Carl. What's he doing? What's going on back at the hilltop? Boom, 2 pages, 2 pages. Down the line, he could do 5 pages, 5 pages, 5 pages, 6 pages, you know, and have it more even. He could do whatever he wants. He could give us 1 page, a quick little glance into a different community, a different environment, and successfully tell the story. Now, speaking of Carl and the Whispers, that brings me to my favorite quote of this comic. Carl said, "The dangerous end is pointing at you." Love that one. The most out of all of them. Let me know if you have a favorite quote or a line from this issue. Now, moving on to the comic, let's do a quick recap. Now, don't get confused. I'm not going to sit here and tell you play-by-play of what happens in the comic, because that's boring and dull, and if you want to know, I'm sure you're going to find out. Either buy the comic, you know, buy the digital, or look it up somewhere. Everyone's talking about it. Running down the list, the first thing I seen was Michonne's sword. Boom! That's the first thing you see when you open the comic, and I'm like, yes, come to me, baby. And then we turn the page, and it's like, Ezekiel? What the damn you, Kirkman! That's what I thought. But he could have been a bigger dick and kept Michonne's reappearance for 2 more issues coming. He could have done that. I'm at least glad he teased us in the same issue that she reappears, because I might not have forgave him so easy if he made us wait any longer. Because, you know, 3 issues is 3 more months. I would have been pretty pissed off, you know? So, we had the fake out. Then we get a very good look at how fragile the relationship is between Rick and Ezekiel, talking about supply and demand. They have trade going on within, it looks like ammunition for lumber, if I'm not mistaken. Rick says, you know, a soft threat, but a threat nonetheless. He says, well, I could take my business to Dwight. You're not happy about the price? Then fuck you, you know? And Ezekiel has to say, chill out, Grimes. And I do like a character calling Rick Grimes. I like that. Yeah, I don't know why, but I like that. Maybe it's because we're so used to Rick, and it's new and refreshing. But don't get it mixed up. It's not fragile because they're mad at each other or enemies, or there's something secret hidden there that's dark and they don't like each other. They're fragile because that is just what happens when people who know each other, or maybe even best friends, get into the drug trade or real legitimate business. If you get into businesses, there's friction there and the friendship becomes fragile. It happens almost all the time. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but especially in the apocalypse, there's a greater risk of that happening. Speaking of fragile relationships, we have Rick and Ezekiel talking about how Rick brings it up. There's some people in the communities that just can't be happy. And we've seen that with the White Trashers and with Gregory. And now there's a bigger picture. There might be some people in Alexandria. There's people in the kingdom, because Ezekiel makes the mark. I know of that all too well. Somebody could have tried to overthrow Ezekiel already. There could be mini stories. Ezekiel could have his worst enemy in prison right now in a side story that could have happened during a time skip. It opens up a world of possibilities, but it also opens up potential storylines for more disastrous shit happening within the inside confines of those community. Inside the walls, the threat is there, and they're so afraid of the outside when it's right in there with them, and it's now the people, their own friends. Before it was strangers that they had to worry about. Now they have to worry about people they know. They say hi to these people every day. I don't want to keep going on about that topic, but I think that's very interesting story potential. However, you don't want to overdo it and make an uprising in each community, because then we'd have to sit back and wonder about, the leadership there. You're like, well, everyone wants to uprise. How bad is it really? So, peeking in at the hilltop, I know you guys probably got a bunch of different things from the 2 pages we have at the hilltop, but I only pulled one major thing from that. Somebody talks about getting a piece of ass, Carl specifically, getting a piece from Lydia, and guess what? Sophia doesn't give a damn. She doesn't even make so much as a face. She doesn't get up from the table and walk away. I mean, maybe she might show some differences later on, but she seemed completely fine with it. And I know it's hard to tell in a comic book, but if they wanted to get that point across, they could have had her looking down or anything when, Homeboy was saying, first piece of ass he gets and he's off with it. And it's a lot of what the viewers were saying. So I know a lot of people was probably agreeing with the guy. You know what I mean? Man, I can't think of his name. Moving on to the 2 pages of the Whispers. We get Carl. He's accepted into the Whispers. It didn't take long. 2 quick pages. Not much of dialogue happening. But it looked like he was talking to Lydia's mother, Alpha. Interestingly enough, she accepted him right off the bat. I do give him props because from the gate he said, listen, my people didn't send me. This is all me right now. And that alleviates the pressure from the situation, the pressure cooker in the situation. And it takes the responsibility away from the people at the hilltop. Now, whether or not Alpha decides to believe him and not attack anyway if shit goes sideways, that's a whole nother thing. But we got to give Carl credit because he stepped up and said, listen, this is all on me. I just want to make sure my piece of ass, my side ass, is okay. So now it's time for the big reveal. We get the boat coming, and they set it up perfect. We have Rick talking to Ezekiel. Ezekiel's nervous, and we know, before we even flip that page, Michonne is gonna be there. And they show her in all her sexy pirate glory. Speaking of posters, that is probably one I'm gonna get. T-shirt, poster, I don't know. The big reveal for the boat, I was dead wrong. It's not a community. However, Michonne came off the boat. So I'm wrong about the community, but I was dead on about Michonne coming off that boat. And I was actually very happy about that prediction. Not happy, I was actually very proud. I was like, yes! I got something good and big that was right. Might have been a little off about the whole community thing, but I was pretty sure that they was hinting at a community or going to, and this whole time, a lot of us doing these predictions, they were fishing. How fucking stupid do we look now? We're thinking about all this crazy shit. They're exiling people. It's Negan. He's on the boat. They're sending him away. Humbly, I felt kind of stupid. I was like, they're out fishing. But that's cool. It makes sense. Michonne is a pirate. Absolutely love that reveal. Now, why is Michonne a pirate? Why did she leave Ezekiel? Here's an interesting thing. You get Michonne, and she goes through her whole storyline with Rick. We see her in the story and everything, and she does all of that. Now, after All Out War, and notice, she's emotionally substituting and filling her void by just having sex with every guy she comes across. We all have made fun of comic Michonne for being a slut. Now, she settles down with Ezekiel, and she settles down, falls in love with him. She's talking about having kids with him. Ezekiel is the love of her life at this point in time, and this is during the time skip. That awakens something in her. She feels guilty because of, in her other life, she left her kids basically for a career, saying, oh, I'll get back to them, I'll go see them, I will this, I will that, making all the excuses in her world, like I do it too with my own kid. There's times where I have to put myself in check and say, you know what, no, shit needs to wait. I want to go and hang out with my kid, watch TV, watch a movie, go for a walk. I constantly love taking her for walks. I think it's just awesome. Even just kicking a ball around. We all do it, we all do it in some way or another. We all push the kids aside because kids stuff, it just seems unimportant, They just want to play. Playing's unimportant. And oftentimes it's easy to overlook that they're not just playing. They're making a bond with us. They're making memories with us. And that playtime isn't just something they're going to forget in 10 minutes. Those are memories they're going to remember for a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? It's a connection you're making with father and child that's going to go on for the rest of their lives. So it's more important. So I don't want to keep rambling. I got a little emotional there. Let's move it on. So Michonne feels guilty and she just bounces one day. Leaves her shit with Ezekiel and she is gone. Rick goes searching for her, sends people searching for her. Nobody died, thank God, but Rick is kind of pissed at her. Here she went off. Not only did she go off on a fishing expedition, but she went on a hunting expedition to where she used to live, I get the feeling, to where her kids lived, I should say. She went looking for any sign, any miraculous sign. I was totally going to say a different word then. That's why that probably came out half retarded. And she didn't find it. She came back, and Rick is telling her, stay at home. Now, I am going to go off on a little conspiracy shit right here, okay? And I'm going to tell you there's probably an 90% chance I am dead wrong. However, I can't shake the feeling that this is more important than it seems. Michonne going off to find her family, obviously. And that is what brings us to this issue. Oh, no, it's not. Before we get into that issue, yeah, I faked you out. Like, he faked us out that was Michonne on the other end of that sword. Fuck me. Fuck Kirkman. Fuck you. I have no idea what that meant. Before I get into this issue, I do want to let you know the very last page of... Maybe not the very last page. No, seriously, before we get into issue 127, take a look at the last thing Rick says to Michonne, and I think it's the second to last page in issue 139. He echoes her very words. Rick lost his shit in Alexandria. Michonne knocked him over the head with a rock, and this is so relevant because it just happened in the TV show. Michonne knocks Rick over the head with a rock, and then the next day in Alexandria in the comic book, Michonne says, Rick, get your shit together, dude. Pull yourself together. Rick was going off the deep end. She pulled him back in. Now look at Michonne went off on the emotional deep end. Rick says, get your shit together. He echoes her words, and I love how it just came back around full circle. She was there for him. Now he is there for her, using the same line, hoping to bring her back home. And that's what he says at the end. It's time for you to come home. I feel like I deserve to be happy. That's what Rick said. And he said, you should be happy too. You deserve happiness as well. The sins of the old world should not haunt us today because it's already a fucked up place. Why add to that? He didn't say that. I'm just putting my own little philosophy in there. I'll shut up. Moving on. Listen, issue 127, okay? Why is this important? Because Magna's Group. Why is Magna's Group important? I understand the superficial reason why Magna's Group is important. Because All Out War, time skip, we got new cover, we got new looks to all our characters. We're still getting new looks with Ezekiel and Michonne. But we start off with a brand new group. Brand new. But why are they so important? Is that the only reason? That superficial reason? It's a new group? Well, if you're going through here, you'll notice that third page in, probably dead wrong, but there's a chick here, right there. So Magna's Group comes to Alexandria. This big fella here is Kelly. Nice to meet you. This is Luke. Connie is a little on the quiet side, and she says not that quiet. And Yumiko, I'm not even going there, but look at Connie. She's quiet and looks suspiciously like Michonne. I got that feeling. I'm like, man, what if Connie is one of Michonne's daughters? Now, I don't remember what Michonne said. She said she left her kids, and I don't know if it's boy or girl or what, but you know when I first looked at her, Connie, and I was like, that looks like Michonne. That looks like Michonne. but Charlie Adler has. There's been times where he's drawn something and a character's looking sideways or whatever, and I got like a hint of Rick, and it could have just been the angle or whatever. Not just Rick, it's a couple different characters. I just feel like there's gotta be something more than the superficial nature of why Michonne left, of having Michonne gone. I feel like there's a bigger story to her going, and we might get it in a different way. But I also feel, not only do I feel like there's a bigger story going on with Michonne, but I truly feel like there's a bigger purpose for Magna, and we just didn't get to it yet. And it is a slow burn, a slow build-up, but the payoff would be huge. Man, I don't know, but if you guys want to weigh in your ideas on the Michonne Connie conspiracy theory here, I would love to hear your opinions down below. Now, guys, listen, I know fans come off with ridiculous speculation. I'm not sure if it's in every single fandom. I'm pretty sure it is, but especially in The Walking Dead, there's just so much wild speculation that just doesn't even make sense. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to add to that, but I legitimately am curious, you know? So leave your opinions and thoughts down below. Leave your favorite quote of this, issue down below. Leave your one word to describe this issue down below, and anything else you want to add. To be honest, the channel is growing, and it's becoming extremely difficult to keep up with all the comments. I mean, sometimes I stay up till 4:30 in the morning, if you look at when I'm responding, just so I can sit there and make a dent in the comments and replies and thumbs up. And I don't do that to win you guys over. I do that because I want to. I do that because I feel like an asshole if I don't. You know, I feel bad in a way if I can't get to everybody. Right now, there's just so much growth with this channel, and I could not be happier, you know? I just absolutely could not be happier. You guys fucking rock. Let me just say that. You're fucking awesome. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Just thank you. The support you guys give, the words of encouragement, I mean, sometimes I feel like I can't verbalize how much that actually means to me. So, again, leave your opinions in the comments down below. It might take a few days, things are slowing down, but I guarantee when I get some free time, I am going through the comments section, and I'm going to communicate as much as I can. But my point here is I want to hear what you have to say. Down below, especially on the conspiracy theory going on with Michonne and Connie. I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.